So, a quick video. We were asked 3 questions on the paranormal field. So we're going to go between Caroline and me with the 3 questions. So question number 1, Caroline's going to read them out here.
What brought you to the paranormal?
So Caroline, you go first.
It was actually Philip that brought me to the paranormal. I never believed in all this stuff till I met Philip.
So that's Caroline's answer. And my answer, what brought me to the paranormal field? Very hard question. I would say it was the time my mother fell down the stairs and died Christmas week, and strange things happened around the house that I couldn't explain. I watched a lot of paranormal activities on YouTube, and I took some of that experience on and I tried it the night the mother died, and everything I asked to do, she did it. So that's what brought me to the paranormal field. So, see you in a minute. Okay, so that's question number 1. Question number 2. Have you had any personal experience, Caroline?
Yeah, we had one when we went to the graveyard that time. We were just going to fly to France the next morning. We went out for dinner and we decided to go see the baby's grave before we left for France. We went to the grave and there was a K written on the grave for Keisha and a P for my little brother Patrick, the 2 babies that were buried in the grave that time. Amelia wasn't, we hadn't done Amelia at that stage. There was a K and a P, remember Rush?
That's right, yeah. So that was Caroline's experience. My experience, I had loads and loads and loads and loads of experience, but the best of them all would be in Clyde Court House, where we heard the woman singing the lullaby, and she would go la 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 la, and it was an absolutely pissing wet, rainy night, stormy night, and there were bushes outside the window. There was only me, myself, and Caroline, and Kevin were there, and it was like someone was shaking the tree in the little room where there's overgrown trees in it, and there was nobody there, and you can hear the woman singing la 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 la.
And then I had one in Patsy's parlour.
That's right, Caroline had one in Patsy's parlour. I went behind Caroline, and we've loads. So I would say Patsy parlour, the woman singing the lullaby would be one, and how can I think of the Hellfire Club, when we asked the question about the black dog, and the answer we got, and the answer we got in the spirit box was the werewolf, and we've seen it. So question number 3 coming up. Right, so we're on the very last one, 3 out of 3, and question number 3, Caroline.
What's the best evidence you have caught on camera? There's a few bits, isn't there? Like, there's a screenshot that Anne Rees caught in Clyde Court's house. Do you remember?
That's
with
right,
the green face.
That's right, yeah.
That was the same night, wasn't it?
That's the same night,
yeah. There's a few, wasn't there? And then up in the Hellfire Club, the black dog, but I don't think we ever got it on camera.
No, we didn't.
We tried to turn the corner and it was gone, just vanished. There's a few, wasn't there?
Yeah.
Patsy's power of the screen again. Yeah. Match up to UK, remember her the screen in the air?
That's right, yeah. So, what's my best evidence I've ever caught on camera? It would have to be, there's only one place, it's Roach's Castle, Lady Larisha, and if you haven't seen it, I recommend you go back and watch Roach's Castle. And the story goes that Lady Larisha, on the night of her marriage, threw her husband out window out top on the night of her marriage, promised her hand in marriage, everything that she had, wealth, money, you name it. There's Roach's Castle right there now, isn't it? And on our spirit box session, the words "I've thrown out window out top" actually came through the spirit box, and I didn't even hear it on the night. It's only when I went back home again and replayed it, I couldn't believe it. I was thrown out window out top. So we will return to Roach's Castle very, very soon. So there's
There's actually one more to be high placed. Remember you took the photograph and a screenshot of it, and it was the image of your father looking at you.
Oh yeah, that's right, yeah. That's right, isn't it? But I still go with Roach's Castle. I was thrown out window top.
Well, I never really believed until I was in Clyde Courthouse that night and I heard the woman singing the lullaby.
The lullaby. And there was actually the same place again, Clyde Courthouse, where I took Ashley out. Another storm windy night, and
the little girl calling for her mummy.
in the cellar, the girl going, "Where's my mummy?" We laid it that night. So there's loads of different things, different strokes for different folks, and there are top 3 questions, and we hope you enjoyed our answers. Birmingham Ghost Hunters. So there it is, that's it. And we hope to see you live in our next one. So it's goodbye from me.
Bye from me.
And we'll see you in the next one. Slán agus bye bye.
As if we're a team.
Yeah.
Are we going to introduce ourselves?
It doesn't say anything, but it would kind of make sense to say, "Hi, I'm Chris, I'm Shell from
so yeah.
Yeah.
So, hi Joanne, it's Chris and Shell from Only Paranormal. So you had questions for us. So the first question was,
What brought us to the paranormal?
yeah, for me, I think it was years before I met any of my team. Weird things would keep happening to me, and for me, being more scientifically minded, it wouldn't track, so I would do my research and whatnot, and that's what slowly got me into it. But it wasn't until I went to the Dana in Shrewsbury that I really kicked things off.
For me, I've always had an interest since childhood, probably, in the paranormal, and that's because one of my good friends when I was growing up was big into it all, and she had a lot of ghost books of the local area, and we'd sit and read them together in my dad's old shed. So that's what sort of got me into it initially. And then as for joining the team, I've known Jodie since school, and I've known Chris for a few years, and they were talking about it, and I'd be like, yeah, that sounds like something I'm interested in. So I joined up, and as you know, we've now got Fran. She's been interested in paranormal since she was a child, so she isn't with us tonight, obviously, and but yeah, so, and I think Jodie, the same for you. He wasn't really interested in it until after the experience at the Dana prison when they went on an event. So that's us, that's what brought us to it.
Have you had any personal experiences?
So I think I've told most of my personal experiences. Most of people know most of my personal experiences. One I tend to keep fairly secret is when I was a little bit younger, I used to live in Bedfordshire with my folks, and one night I would wake up and I would struggle to know whether I was awake or asleep, and out of the darkness between the back of the door of my wardrobe would come a black hooded figure with red eyes, just to say, "You're next," and only to actually wake up in a cold sweat. That would be my very first personal experience.
For me, I mean, I think by now we've all had experiences over the years, but I don't think I've got any real personal experiences that I would say. They've just been more of like a team experience, or I haven't really had anything that I would consider personal to me. Yeah.
I think the last one is...
What's the best evidence you've caught on camera?
Now, my opinion of this is Acton Burnell We went for an investigation, and this was the first time we went there. And we went there, and it was a bit slow going, and we didn't really have a plan because the weather was against us. And as we stood there investigating, me and Jodie were talking, trying to get the activity to go off, get going and whatnot. And Shell stopped us and interrupted us and said, "Look, I don't mean, obviously I don't always say this and whatnot." She said, she explained that somebody just come up and just touched her cheek, and she looked and sounded really quite rattled. So we did move over, and I was trying to sort of get some intelligent responses, to which I then asked who just touched Shell's cheek, to which there was just immediate direct response, me. It was as clear as day, me.
And I'm going to say that our best ever piece of footage is possibly on one of the 3 episodes that we're currently editing. So make sure you check out our YouTube channel.
She's plugging.
To see that wonderful evidence. But anyway,
Tune
that's enough from us. I'm sure you've got other people to listen to.
Thank you very much, Joanna, and we'll see
the
you
rest
again.
of the Birmingham Ghost Hunters team.
Yes, everyone else, yeah, don't forget them.
And we'll see you soon. Thanks again, guys. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Beautiful. Your heads weren't in that. Does that matter?
We're floating somewhere over there.
Oh, not smooth.
So, hello everybody, I am Claire from One Entity Paranormal Investigators Worldwide. So Joanne's asked me to do a short video answering a few questions in regards to the paranormal, which is absolutely fine. Okay, so the first question, what brought me to the paranormal? So I'm a medium. I had the ability from birth. I've tried to avoid it for many years, and it's not going to happen. So I have been involved in the paranormal from a very, very young age. I absolutely love the paranormal. It doesn't matter what I try to do in life, it brings me back to the paranormal. So yeah, that is me in a nutshell. Personal experiences, I've had quite a few in regards to seeing them in my room as a child, people sitting on the bed. I've been scratched a couple of times, not very nice. Hair pulled on a regular basis. A lot of my experiences are generally to do with touch as well. So, you know, children holding my hand, feeling that I'm being pushed. Lots and lots of personal. I mean, if I was to go on, I'd be here for a good few hours. So all of my personal experiences are very, very hands-on. And to be honest, it's absolutely fantastic. I wouldn't change it for the world. Now, the last question is the best bit of footage, or what we've caught on camera. The best thing that ever happened to us was we was at Smethwick Baths, and we had a photograph taken of the team. We were the only people in the building, to the point that the cameras were actually pointing to the hallway behind us when we was having our photos taken. And this very unpleasant man is standing between 2 of the members of One Entity. The only way to describe this man is a plague victim, which is really, you know, it sounds really horrible, but it is a plague victim. We've looked into it, we've had people look at the footage, scientists have looked at it, and nobody can explain it. You know, it's not been tampered with. It was on an iPhone as well. And obviously they do, like, it's like a video, isn't it? So it moves from stop to stop. And you can see the person on there as clear as day. Within the second that it moves, there's the times it's dated and everything else. And it's incredible. So I have to say that's probably the best piece of footage that we've got today. But we have got lots of other stuff that is pretty interesting as well. So thank you so much for listening to me waffle on. Like I said, I'm Claire from One Entity Paranormal Investigators Worldwide. Please have a look at our page, watch our lives, and hopefully we'll be in touch soon, and you can join all the events and everything that we've got going on. So thank you very much. Bye bye.
Rolling.
Hi
Hi guys, I'm here to answer a few questions. What got me into the paranormal? I'd say the initial spark that got me into the paranormal was by St James's Church in Hartlebury. I was walking home late one night after visiting friends. I say one night, early hours of the morning, if I'm honest. And coming down the road was a man on a penny farthing. And at the time I didn't really understand whether it was real, not real, but after it went past me I sort of realised that there was no sound, no acknowledgement, no nothing. It almost seemed like he was in black and white. Whether this was my mind playing tricks on me or whether this was actually the case, I still don't know. But that's what ignited the spark. I actually rang Brian early that morning, told him what had happened, expecting a bit of ridicule, and Brian obviously shared his experiences with me, and that's what got us into the paranormal. That's what sparked ignited my fuse to get us into the paranormal. Personal experiences. I'd say one of the most personal experiences I've had since I've been doing paranormal investigations is the first time we visited the ancient Ram Inn. We run a poll on Twitter and Facebook of who goes upstairs and does lone vigils at the ancient Ram Inn. Obviously it's the first time we've been there, and it's a very active place. I was actually doing a live feed, giving a tour of the place, and I knocked on the bishop's room door as you're supposed to. I give it 3 knocks, not thinking much of it, but the second I finished my last knock, the door actually knocked back at me 3 times. I actually saw the door shake in front of me, and there was no one else upstairs in that building. Brian was downstairs by the entrance, and that shook me up for the rest of the night, and every time I've been there since, that's always stayed in my mind. So that's quite a personal experience. Best piece of evidence I've caught is actually here, where I'm standing. It's a photograph in Dell's graveyard that I was taken one night. It's actually of what seems like a young woman or a girl. It looks like she's cradling something, whether it's a child or whether she's just holding her arms like that, we're not sure. The photograph's actually been sent to a lot of people, and checks are being done on it, etc. We'd love to know what it was, but that's definitely the best piece of evidence we've caught thus far. Right, thanks for having me on your video, guys. I hope you enjoy what you do and stick to it, and all the best. Thanks.